Alright, what is that, Luna?
This is trichinosis.
Uh-huh.
You can't really see it, but it's really that.
Are you gonna eat raw pork?
I don't know. Should I?
Do it.
I don't know. Should I?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I couldn't eat it. It's good. And butter? How is it?
Delicious
Yeah, I like
soy,
raw pork.
Yeah.
Delicious soy protein.
It's pretty fatty. Hi everybody, I'm here with Jake the Asshole. A lot of you probably know him. Used to be the Flat Earth Asshole, but not anymore. Do you also want to talk about why you're not the Flat Earth Asshole anymore?
I pretty much made that clear on my channel. It just seems like all the people who are pushing Flat Earth, who have a big YouTube channel, are doing it for a lot of the wrong reasons, and I don't want to be associated with the same cult community of people who are putting on conferences, who are employed by corporations like Metatron so that they can get you to download applications and then steal your information. I don't want to be associated with people doing that, and so I just went ahead and moved on and changed my channel to Jake the Asshole so I can talk about whatever I want.
You used to be a vegetarian. How did you get into that?
I tried vegetarian diet for a short stint, maybe 6 months or so. When I first started watching Flat Earth videos, I was watching Eric Dubay, and he would show clips of animals, you know, heading into slaughterhouses and basically guilt trip his audience into thinking that the vegan diet was the way to go. And I never tried going fully vegan because I always liked dairy a lot, but I did try to cut back on meat, and I ended up losing weight during that time, and which is a bad thing for me because I'm already too skinny. So I found out that if I cut out meat, then I just start losing weight and becoming frail, and slowly the meat cravings took back over, and I just started eating meat again. So it didn't last long.
Yeah, they show the blood, the guts and everything from the animals as shock value, and of course people who are removed from nature, they get all traumatized by it and go vegan. It's just nonsense. It's nothing to do with reality.
Now I admit the conditions in the slaughterhouses aren't perfect, but that doesn't mean that we should, you know, make ourselves unhealthy by eating an unhealthy diet, because the practices at the slaughterhouses, you know, the mass meat producers, just because they don't have the best of standards doesn't mean that I shouldn't eat meat. You know what I mean?
They don't even talk about all the grass-fed meat and the farms that actually treat the animals right. They only show the worst of the worst, and of course it's just not reality.
And that was the only reason I tried it. Yeah, he would show pictures of cows hanging upside down, squirming around, and and yeah, so I tried it, but it didn't last long. And then come to find out, you know, he lies about a lot of stuff, and he's basically just another actor, like I mentioned before, in the Flat Earth cult community. So so basically, yeah, I don't associate myself with people like him, or even bring him up much anymore. But yeah, that's what got me to try the vegetarian thing for a little bit.
And what do you eat right now?
Right now, I eat a lot of meat. Mostly, I've been eating a ton of eggs. I'm trying to put on weight, and so I'm just now getting into working out. I have a hard time staying with the routine of working out consistently, and consistently eating the calories that go along with gaining weight. I'm what they call a hard gainer, so it takes me, you know, 3 times as much calories as a regular person, and I expend a lot of calories with my job performing and stuff. So it's a battle to gain weight, you know. So right now I'm trying to eat like 30 eggs a day, and the reason I'm able to do that is because of this guy right here. He got me over the fear of eating raw meat and raw eggs to where I'm able to consume 30 eggs in a day without having to sit there and eat cooked eggs. And you can attest to this. What is it about like liquid eggs or raw meat that we're able to digest it so much more easily, like it's nothing? What is that?
Yeah, you simply change the proteins, the molecules, the structure of the food, so it's not even food in the end, because it's a whole different the molecular structure is just so different that when the meat is completely cooked, if it's well done, then the body doesn't even recognize it, so it's really hard to assimilate the proteins and actually absorb anything at all. Whereas if you eat raw meat, your body perfectly knows what it is, and that's why you digest it so well. And if you cook meat, it kind of just sits in your stomach and it's heavy. Whereas if you eat raw eggs or raw meat, it's easy. You don't even feel it. You can eat pounds of it, and
I want to really drill that home to people that, like, if you want to increase your protein, if you're like working out trying to gain muscle, you want to increase protein, just slam some raw eggs and raw meat. You can eat twice as much, 3 times as much before you even start to feel full. A lot of people don't believe me when I tell them that. They're like, you eat 30 eggs in a day? How do you do that? It's like, I crack one into a cup, drink it, gulp, there's one. Crack one into a cup, boom, drink it. There's like a shot. So in a minute, I can have 6 eggs down the hatch, right? Whereas if you scramble 6 eggs, that's a fucking pile of eggs right there. And then it's a chore just eating them. And then if I ate 6 eggs, I would feel bloated and full. Whereas if I drink 6 eggs, I don't even feel anything. I can drink another 6. So in one setting, I can drink 12 eggs. Whereas if I was to try to scramble 12 eggs, dude, that's like a giant bowl full of eggs. So
it's heavy.
So I think, yeah, it's the fact that it's in liquid form. Your digestion system, your acids in your stomach just annihilate it.
Plus the enzymes are still intact, so you digest it well. Whereas if you cook it, you just destroy it.
That too. So I feel like I'm getting more of the actual protein. And another reason I got into drinking the eggs was because I didn't want to do the lab protein powders. You know, all the workout guys say, oh, buy this protein powder or buy this. And it's like, I wanted to stay away from the lab-made powders, you know, and just say, I'll just eat, 6-8 more eggs instead of drinking a protein shake. I'll slam 12 more fucking eggs, you know.
Yeah.
So, the raw meat, it's all because of this guy that I even tried it. I used to be afraid that if like I got raw egg on my finger, I had to go wash my hands, go sterilize my hands so that I don't, and I touched the refrigerator door with the raw egg, now I have to wash that. Oh, I touched that doorknob, I have to wash that. You know, I used to have that fear that like a little bit of raw egg or raw meat like would be contaminated with anything you touched. And now I'll drink 30 eggs in a day. So if someone's like, oh, that could be dangerous, it's like, so I'm defying death 30 fucking times in a day, like every day. I don't know, I don't buy it. So I give this guy all the credit for me getting over that fear of raw meat. And I'm sure a lot of people tell you that too, that it's mainly just a mental thing.
Yeah, to start eating the raw meat and the raw eggs, they say that it's too hard, and really they're just looking for somebody to tell them, hey, go and do it, it's safe. And that's all that people really need, because this fear of bacteria or parasites, it's mental. It's the boogeyman. Nobody has ever seen it. It's something that's supposedly there. It's as if it's invisible. It's on the meat. It's there. You will eat it. You will be sick. It's just nonsense.
I haven't even had any stomach discomfort. Every once in a while, you know, sometimes we just feel sick and need to throw up. And I haven't since when I eat a bunch of raw meat or raw eggs, I haven't had an experience where like my stomach gets upset and I feel like I need to throw up. So I will say that, like, I was a little afraid the first time when I ate a pile of raw meat when I did steak tartare. Like that was a good portion of meat, and I had never just sat and ate a whole pound of raw meat before. And once I got through it and I barely even felt full, that's when I realized, like, you almost have to do it. You just have to eat the raw meat to realize, like, oh shit, now I get it. So it's one of those, it's a mental thing you have to get over, because there's hardly any flavor, you know, associated with the meat or the eggs. So it really comes down to the consistency that people are afraid of.
People believe that the hospitals are full of food poison people who eat raw meat or whatever. Of course, it doesn't exist. It's full of people who ate some old cooked food which stayed outside for a while. Even if you leave some cooked meat outside for a few hours, it can create toxins. That's why food poisoning is called food poisoning. It's poisons because those are toxins. Bacteria are not poisonous in any way, so you can't get food poisoning from bacteria. You can get it from toxins. And if cooked food is left outside, then the bacteria can feed on the cooked chemicals, which are carcinogenic, and that can also create a toxic effect. But raw meat doesn't have it. You're not going to get food poisoning from it, except of course if the animal is sick, which is why you should always eat grass-fed animals, pasture raised, free range, so they live a good life.
and stop me if you've heard this before. Have you ever heard of vegans say, well, the hospitals aren't full of vegans, they're full of meat eaters?
Right.
And it's almost like you get lumped into the same category as someone who ate McDonald's their whole life, right? So it's like they eat meat,
right,
and you eat meat, so you're meat eaters, bro, right? You know, and the meat eaters are what's in the hospital, not the vegans. Isn't that a load of bullshit?
Yeah, if somebody's diet is 20% meat, which is kind of typical nowadays, and they're a meat eater, McDonald's sodas are vegan, French fries vegan, burgers. How much meat is in there
just
compared to the
sliver,
bread?
The little sliver, and then there's the bread and condiments.
And the cheese is pretty much plastic. It's not even cheese. It's not even made out of milk because there's some milk powder, and the rest of it is vegetable oil. So it's just plastic essentially. That's why they say that the cheese in McDonald's is one ingredient away from plastic, because it's true. So when you look at it, 70 to 80% is plants. That's a plant-based diet. It's not vegan, but that's what people eat nowadays. That's what junk food is. So the hospitals are not filled with meat eaters. It's filled with people who eat junk food, and it's plant-based. It may be processed plants, but it's still mostly plants. So it's more on the vegan side than anything. So all of the hospitals are filled with people eating plant-based diets. I don't see any raw meat eaters there, or even people who eat a cooked carnivore diet or a ketogenic diet.
Yeah,
they're not in the hospital.
Like the full-on primal diet. If you were to go around and ask those people, like, you know, how much raw meat do you eat in a day? How much just pure meat do you eat versus everything else? You'd come to find out it's a life of a bunch of other bad decisions that got them in the hospital. So I think whenever I hear that argument, it's clear we need to break it down that, like, the diet that this guy eats is not the fucking same as somebody who lived on fast food their whole life. You can't just say, yeah, meat eater, and the guy who eats fast food, meat eater. And then they say, you know, you don't see the hospital full of vegans, but you talk to vegans on a daily basis, or former vegans, I should say, who did go to the hospital because of the problems that they got being a vegan, and then now that they're eating meat, a lot of those problems have went away. You talk to those people daily, right?
They go to the hospital, they go to doctors privately because they don't want anyone to know that they're sick. There's tons of people like Dr. Natasha Campbell. She has tons of patients who are vegan. The psychiatrists talk about mostly vegetarians and vegans who come to them because they all have mental problems. That's just the reality of this whole movement of eating plants.
So I'm in the presence of Sv3rige for the first time meeting him, and he looks like he's in great shape, looking good. And all the people I've noticed on the primal diet doing the raw meat thing, none of them seem sickly. You know, I don't see the epitome of malnourishment videos of them turning it around on you. I haven't seen like those guys try to say, hey, look how sickly these guys are. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like you can use, you know, the pictures and images of the vegans against them, but they're going to have a tough time turning that right back around and saying, look at these meat eaters. They're falling apart. Yeah, one by one.
It's not gonna
They're
happen.
one by one, whereas the vegans literally one by one are falling apart. They're falling by the wayside and turning back around, and they're usually doing it with raw meat, which is hilarious when you think about it.
Yeah.
The thing they're against ends up saving their life in the end.
Yeah, I get this all the time, and I'm sure there's many vegans watching who believe that they're gonna be vegan their whole life. I see YouTube channels called Vegan for Life. And of course you're not going to be. In a year or two, everybody comes back and says, hey, I was wrong. I can't believe that I didn't believe you. Actually, I got sick from veganism. Many of you don't believe it, but you're going to come back in months or maybe a few years, and you're going to realize that you were wrong about veganism.
Well, like I said, I never tried being vegan, but I did try the vegetarian thing, and I quickly went back to meat. And then once I tried raw meat, now I see that that's a superior way to eat. And like I said, I'm consuming about 30 eggs a day, about 3 cartons of eggs a day to try to gain some weight and put on the healthy consume the healthy protein and fats. And I would have never did it without watching this guy's video.
Where do you get your eggs?
I just go to the grocery store, you know.
Which ones do you get?
I don't even buy the organic kind because they're just too damn expensive. I just eat too many in a day. So even though I'm not buying the organic eggs, I still feel like eating raw eggs is better than like lab-made protein powders or you know, a protein bar, or, you know, and I can't afford to eat just nothing but meat. So it's like the eggs are cheap. I can get a dozen for $2. So, you know, for $5-6 in a day, I can eat 30 eggs, and then also throw in a little bit of meat here and there too, you know, on top of that. But right now, eggs are like my main protein source, and I'm drinking them raw, which saves a lot of time as well. Like for breakfast, if you smash down like 6-8 eggs, like you're done. You don't have to fire up a pan and butter. No dirty dishes. I just have a cup and just knock them down one by one.
That's also why people like fast food. It's because it's so easy to eat raw food. You just get it, which is how it's supposed to be. You're not supposed to prepare and spend hours in the kitchen preparing food. That's why people just like to go somewhere and get some food. That's how it's supposed to be. You just kill the animal and you get the meat, or you find the egg and you eat it. Food is always ready in its raw form.
So yeah, glad it was nice to meet you, and hope you're enjoying your stay here in the United States.
It's great.
Over on the West Coast.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much all I had to say. You have anything else you want to say?
Man, sums it up.
All right.
Thanks,
well,
man.
Yeah, well, thanks, man. I'll repost this on my channel, and I look forward to all the hateful comments, you know, and all the thumbs down. You know, over on this guy's channel, this is all fine and good, but over on my channel, people are like, Jake, what are you doing? Just talk about NASA, talk about the flat Earth, wah. So I'll be going against the grain, but you know what? Screw them. I believe it's the truth, and it's a healthy way to eat. So I'll be posting this on my channel as well.
Okay, thanks, guys.
See you guys.